Okay, so I just want to introduce my Rochel Chafetz, my incredibly accomplished sister and beautiful Torah teacher who embodies Torah. So thank you, Rochel. Are you there? Rach?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you, Rach. I'm going off.
Thank you very much, Naomi. That was a beautiful hakdama. May Tzvi's neshama have an aliyah. May he be a melitz yashar for mommy and daddy. This year is dedicated to his neshama. The Sfarim say that the neshamas want to do mitzvahs, but they can't. So we are encouraged to do mitzvahs in the name of the neshama, and through our mitzvahs, that neshama gets the schar and the pleasure of doing the mitzvah. Rav Dessler brings down that in Olam Hazeh, we all know that when something good happens, we say Tova Meitiv, and when something bad happens, we say Dayan Emes. But Olam Haba, everything's going to be Tova Meitiv. Because in Olam Hazeh, it's impossible to see everything that happens to us is truly good for us. But when in Olam Haba, we are going to clearly see that everything is intrinsically good. And that's why we're going to make the bracha of a Tova Meitiv on everything. My daughter-in-law was telling me that Mrs. Cohn, the one who lost her son in Meron, they're very good friends with the family, that when she stood by his caver this past Yortzeit, she said that she looks forward to the day where she can see the full picture. So today is Dalet Tammuz. It's the fourth day of Tammuz. It's the day that we are dedicating this year to Tzvi ben Moshe Reuven. And we're going to learn about the Koach of Tammuz. Anybody who has been on this platform and heard me speak, I believe in the avoda of the month. We use the parshios, we use the astral sign, we use the shevet, the number, anything that corresponds. The month of Tammuz is about heat, it's about the crab, it's about sight, it's about re'iyah. The shevet of Tammuz is Reuven. The letter is Ches. When Reuven was born, Leah said, Hashem sees, or he saw my suffering. And that's why she called him Reuven. So we're going to begin to delve a little bit. We're going to take one step at a time. What caused, yesterday we finished Koach, what caused his downfall? So Rashi asks the question, Ma ra'ah Koach lachalok al Moshe. If you look at the word ra'ah, Rashi uses the word ra'ah. He doesn't use any other word because there was something in his sight. There was something in his vision. There was something that he didn't see. So plain simple pshat, Niskane, he had jealousy over the nesias of his younger cousin. I'm not going to go into a Chumash class now. His eyes got in the way. There was a blind spot, so to speak. He didn't see correctly. He didn't see something. He misunderstood something. Why? Because the eye was in the way. His eyes didn't see because the eye, the ani, was in the way. If we go back to creation, we see that everything was about sight. Vayar Elokim es haor ki tov. It's all about Hashem's vision and what he sees, trying to show us how we have to see. We have to emulate Hashem. How do we see the tov in every situation? How do we see the tov in a person? How do we perceive that person, that situation, that reaction, that event? That's why we have two eyes. Well, Babich Rebbe says that's why we have two eyes. One right eye, one left eye. Because you have a choice how you see things. When the eye is in the way, it distorts your vision. Uri'isem oso uschartem. Why is there a mitzvah tzitzis? Why is the mitzvah tzitzis written right after meraglim? The meraglim obviously used their eyes for the wrong thing, to train the sight. Because when one looks at the blue at the tcheles, it makes him see the blue of the ocean. And when you see the blue of the ocean, it makes you see the blue of the sky. And it makes you realize that Hakol B'dei Shemayim, that whatever was put in front of you is from Hashem. That means any interaction, any person, any event, any struggle, anything was put there from Hashem. But you have to be able to see it and decide what you're going to do with it. Are you going to allow your eyes to create the conflict that Koach did? Or are you going to choose differently? The letter Ches, which is the letter of Tammuz, was first seen by the creation of Choshech. The Choshech, al pnei saham, ruach elokim berachefes, vayar elokim es or kitov, to teach us to be able to see the light through the Choshech. Why did Rabbi Akiva laugh when he saw the fox coming out of the ruins of the Beis Hamikdash? Because he didn't see the negative. He says, I see the negative, but now I know that because I see the negative, I am certain that the good is going to come from there as well. But I'm going to delve much deeper. I'm going to go into this week's Parsha. The first Parsha, the second Parsha of Tammuz. The 3 weeks are called Ben Hamitzarim, between the narrowness. What makes us stand between the narrowness? What makes us narrow? Why do we have narrow vision? Why do we have narrow sight? Why? Why do we see things that cause us to stray? Koach saw the wrong chain coming out of him. So in Parshas Chukas, we see that Miriam dies. She dies, and there's no water. So Hashem tells Moshe, take your stick and go talk to the rock and have a conversation with the rock. And after you talk to the rock is going to give forth water. Why? Why talk? Hashem wanted Moshe to have a conversation with them. Dibur is an elevated form of speech. Aseres hadibros, not aseres hamamaros. To teach them that through your dibur, through your tefillah, through your Torah, through your clean speech, through the way you speak to others, the way you speak to me, you can bring shefa mayim. Speak to the rock, and the water will come out. Mayim is bracha. Hashem wanted to raise them to a new level, not from force, but from conversation. That's why they were put in the midbar, dibur. There's a pasuk in Dvarim that says, Eila hadvarim, es hadvarim, ha'ela sher diber Hashem, el kol ka'alchem. Uncle says, kol chazak b'kayam la'olam. A great voice never ceases. Hashem continues to communicate to us. It could be through a bush. It could be through a donkey. It could be through a annoying person. Speak to the rock. Through your dibur, they will learn to hear me. They will learn to hear my voice. There's a story about a Rebbe who at PTA kept asking the father of his Talmud, do you speak to your son? Do you talk to your son? Sure, I learn with him. We do Gemara and Mishnayos, Bekiyas. I learn with him. Do you speak to him? Sure, I compliment him. No. do you talk to him? The father agreed. I don't talk to him. So it's a double whammy. Speak to them, make them hear you, have a conversation, don't coerce. And through that, they will know how to use their dibur to connect to Hashem, to connect to others, and to connect to themselves. And this was a way of elevating them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu also wanted to elevate their emunah. And we can see that in the differences of the psukim. By Kriyas Yamsuf, it says, Harem es matcha, take your stick, nata es yadecha. Throw the stick away, use your hand. I want them to see it's not the stick, it's your hand. It's the hand of Hashem. And we see that they got to that level because it says that they saw Yad Hashem. Vayar Yisrael et hayad gdola. But here he did the opposite. Here, what did he do? It says over there that he did the opposite. Vayare Moshe as Yado, Vayach, and he hit it in Mateo. So what happens? He hits the rock. He hits the rock. He gets angry at Bnei Israel. There's many meforshim as to what his chait was. His anger literally caused him to forget what he really needed to do. I'm not going to go into what anger is. Pirkei Avos discusses anger. There's a whole sefer, Haser Kas Midlibecha. Kas is a form of Avodah Zarah. He called them a name, Shimuna Hamorim. He got angry. Shlomo HaMelech once says that anger, if it's in your lap, when you get up, everything you had in that lap falls to the wasteland. So he got angry. He hits the rock. And the Koach Baruch Hu looks at him and he says, Yan lo hemantem bi laktisheni. But that doesn't make sense. How can Hashem say that you didn't believe in me? I can understand that you weren't mekadesh my name, but Yan lo hemantem bi. So emunah comes from the word omein. Omein means to educate, to raise up. V'hinei Mordechai omein as Hadassah, to raise up, to educate, to bring up, right? To bring up. Rav Soloveitchik says that to believe and to bring up are identical accomplishments. It's the same thing. The believer must be able to engage in a great educational task. Moshe failed in raising them up to a newer level of understanding themselves and understanding HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But why? What happened? Because he failed to see. He failed to see them. Hashem wanted Moshe to look at them past the group of complainers. Don't look at the kvetchers. See beyond the facade of rabble-risers. Look beyond it. See through the angry rabble. Try to extract the water from them. Try to bring out the deep emunah that they do have inside of them. But Moshe could not see that. He only saw a group of fetching people. And this actually was the first lesson that Koach Baruch Hu tried to teach him way in the beginning, right? When he met him by the burning bush and he said, no, I don't know what's chus, why are they ra'ui? And he says, oh, ra'isi. Wrong. You only see the exterior, I see the inside. Moshe was told to assemble the Eidah. If you go home and you look at the psukim, the Eidah, I'm not going to read it to you now, but Moshe himself, it says later, assembled the Kahal. What's the difference? So in the Sefer Meimarim, it says Kahal is many individuals who assemble together to make a crowd. Eidah is more of a community guided by a specific purpose. What Moshe lost sight of was the witness Eidah community. He only saw the assemblage. He spoke to what was in front of him instead of their potential. So he became incapable of speaking to them with love. And he had anger and he hit the rock. But what really went on here? So Hashem, in his ultimate kindness, threw something right in front of me. An article written by Rabbi Dr. Jonathan Sachs. And listen to what he says. He says, right before this, we see that Miriam dies. Miriam dies. Miriam was really very significant to Moshe. She saved his life. She brought him into life. She brought him into life. Then she took care of him as a midwife. Then she watched over him. She really cared for him. She worried for him. Despite his negative talk, her negative talk against him, Moshe cared for her very, very deeply. He even begs Hashem when she has saras, Kelna, Rifan Allah. Such a short tefillah, but so emotionally intense. Kelna, Rifan Allah. Moshe faces a challenge here for the first time without his sister. Rabbi Sachs says Moshe loses emotional control in the presence of his people. Yes, he didn't see this, he didn't see that, all of that. Yes. However, on a deeper level, Moshe was experiencing an effect of avelus, of grief, of loss of a sibling. Those who have experienced a loss sometimes will tell you that the loss of a parent, lo aleinu, is part of the natural order of life. The loss of a sibling can be less expected and more disoriented. Like Aaron said, Vayochal, Vayetze merechem imo, Vayochal chatzi bisara. We came from the same womb. Half of our flesh has been eaten. Miriam was no ordinary sibling. Moshe owed his life to her. The Mishnah says there's 4 kinds of friendships. Rambam brings down, there's Chaver HaBitachon. Chaver HaBitachon is the ultimate. Someone in whom you have absolute trust and with whom you are completely open and unguarded, knowing that whatever you tell that person will never share or take advantage. Looks like Miriam was like that for Moshe. And now that she was no longer there, he could not cope with the crisis that was before him. Rabbi Sachs talks about that those who are a source of strength to others also need their own source of strength. Even Moshe needed a human friend. Even a leader cannot lead alone. But we need vision to be able to see that. To see that one may need a friend, one may need a person to tell us, to guide us, to push us back, to reprimand us, to help us, to let us see things that we can't see. To let us see things that we can't see. In Dvarim, we see, in Shmos, Perek Lamed Ches, we see over there that it says, Vayasas akior hanechoshes, veskano nechoshes, b'maros hatzavaos, asher tzavao pesach ol moed. Moshe made the wash basin to wash the hands of the Kohanim from the mirrors of the women. Baal HaTurim notes that the word mareh and mareh, vision and mirrors, are the same. And a few times in the Torah, the word mareh comes to the forefront, referring to the vision of the Koach Baruch Hu. But mirror is the same word. Because what is a mirror? What is a mirror? When I look at the mirror, what do I see? Me. Me. All I see is me. But when you move the mirror away, then you're able to see everybody else. And maybe you're going to be able to see the bigger picture that Hashem wants you to see. When you move the I away, then you can see. Our vision depends on how much we can look past ourselves. Naturally, when you look at a darkened window, right, what happens? You see a reflection of yourself. But if you keep on the effort, considerable effort, you can actually shift the focus and you'll be able to look past your reflection and see what's on the other side of the glass. The women gave away their mirrors to be able to speak and have a conversation with Hashem, to be able to see themselves, the people around them, the situations around them, and to see a Koach Baruch Hu in their life. What does that mean to see a Koach Baruch Hu in your life? Everybody talks about it. You have to see Hashem in your life, to see Hashem in your life, to see Hashem in your life. You know what it means? It means that when someone throws somebody in front of your face in some sort of something, and you don't like it, that means Hashem is doing it to see what you're going to see. What are you going to see? When we see so much darkness in front of us, what do we really see? When we have struggles, what are we really seeing? Hashem. Hashem threw it there, put it in front of us to see what we're going to see. That's the Koach of Tammuz. To be able to see past the I, the choshech, and through that to see the reflection of Hashem and others. Tammuz could have been a month of bracha. It could have been a month of bracha, but they messed up. Contrasting values in Tammuz. Tremendously contrasting values. Yud Zayin Tammuz in Gematria is Tov. We may see that it's not Tov, but it's Tov. Koach, the Koach of Tammuz is to go away from the choshech. The choshech of machlokes, the choshech of our struggles, the choshech of everything around us that we create. To remove the I reflection of me, look beyond, look past it. Maybe we'll be able to see so much more. More of that person, more of those people, more of Hashem, and even more of ourselves in a different way. In Pirkei Avos it says, you want to stay away from the negative, you have to reflect on these things. Da mala mala mincha, know what's above you. Ayin roa, ozen shamas, that there's an eye that sees, an ear that hears, and everything is recorded. So yeah, it refers to Hashem 100%. Hashem sees, Hashem hears, but we are created b'tselem Elokim. We also have eyes. We also have ears. We have 2 eyes, 2 ears. Not one, 2 eyes, because we have choices. It's what we see. It's what we hear. I'm going to finish off with a beautiful story. It's a true story. There were 2 girls that were sitting doing their nails, and they were talking about their mother-in-laws. And one girl says, my mother-in-law brings me silver and gold and jewelry and whatnot. And the other girl goes, my mother-in-law, every time she comes to my house, she brings me marmalade. It's a nice word for jam. Every single time. She says, I have jars and jars and jars. I can sell them. And they're laughing. There was an old woman there who was also doing her nails. I guess her hearing was still good. And she says, let me ask you something about your mother-in-law. Was she in the camps? And she said, yeah, she was in Auschwitz. She said, so was I. And let me tell you something about the jam, the marmalade. When we got jobs, and if we got it, the schus to work in the kitchen, we got rewarded with a teaspoon of jam. So for your mother-in-law, that jam is worth more than all the diamonds and the gold and the silver in the world. Those are called blind spots. We do it every day of our lives. We don't see the good that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us. We don't focus on the bracha that Hashem gives us. We don't see the good in the people around us. We tend to see the black dot on the white piece of paper instead of the white piece of paper on the black dot. Let's be honest with ourselves. This is the month to remove the eye and to use our eyes to be able to really see. Vayar Elokim Yisrael ki tov. It's all good. It's all good. Lubavitcher Rebbe used to say it. You think good, it'll be good. Have a wonderful Chodesh. And once again, Tzvi ben Moshe Reuven should have, Neshama should have Aliyah, should be a Melitz Yashar. And everybody's tsar, Mirtz Hashem, Be'ezras Hashem, will all be able to make the bracha of Hatov U'Meitiv. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. It was great.
Rochel, thank you so much. That was so beautiful. Thank you. It was really something. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bastia, do you want to finish us off by reading?
Sure.